Very good morning, very good afternoon, or very good evening from whichever part of the world you're joining us. I would like to thank you. My name is Maruti Makwana, and thank you so much for joining this live session on our YouTube channel. I think we will wait for another few more seconds and then we are going to start the actual session. I hope you're able to hear me properly. There is no audio or any other disturbance or glitches which are there. And I hope you can see me as well. Now, today we are going to focus on our certification masterclass. I hope you have attended our earlier webinar, which we have done last month. And in that webinar, I was giving you an end-to-end introduction of what kind of certifications are available in Microsoft Azure, as well as which certifications would be the right choice for you. Now, I can show you right now on my screen that this is our YouTube link. And if you go to the live section, then you will be able to see this Azure Certification Masterclass webinar, which you'll be able to find there. Now, in this Certification Masterclass, I have shown you multiple things. And now we are going to focus on each independent certification. Today, we are going to start with this certification, which is Microsoft Certified DevOps Engineer Expert. The course code or the exam code for this is AZ-400. Okay, and this particular certification track is actually an expert level certification, like you can see here. If you are going to go for the certification exam and if you clear this, you will get a badge which is basically having 3 stars on that. And this is really a reputed and a valuable certification. So if you're really willing to earn the certification badge and if you are interested in this, I am damn sure everything which is required to clear the certification and everything which is required to prepare for this is actually going to be covered in this video. Also, I'm very happy if you put a messages or the comments in this particular video. If you have any questions at the end of this video, I'm going to share a way by which you can directly ask me your questions related to any of the certification tracks. So without wasting time, I think, yes, you guys have joined this live webinar, so it's a good time to start. So first of all, let me give you some information about this certification track. And as I said, the title is Microsoft Certified DevOps Engineer Expert. Because this is an expert level certification, the first thing which I want to clarify is this is not an ordinary certification. What I mean by this is this requires a certain prerequisites which are part of this. You can see right now, I'm showing you the official page on this learn.microsoft.com. This links will be available in the description of this particular webinar at the end of this actually. Otherwise, you can check this thing from this as well. And when I go into this, it's showing me that in the prerequisites section, there are 2 certifications which are prerequisites of this. If I open this in the new browser tab, it's going to show me that either you have to clear Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate, which is option number 1, and that's one of the prerequisite which is there. And the second one is Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate, which is option number 2. You do not need to give both of the certification exams, but you have to clear at least one of them. And that's why they are saying it's option 1 or 2. Now, from the exam point of view, this first one, which is administrator, has an exam code which is AZ-104. And then the second one is actually having an exam code AZ-204. So either you need to be a good administrator and or maybe you're going to be a good developer in order to go for this certification track. Once you go for this certification tracks and if you clear this, then your Microsoft Certified Azure DevOps Engineer Expert badge is going to be valid. So basically that is something which is prerequisite. Now maybe some of you are going to ask me this question, then why we are not going for 104 or 204 first? Well, that's because we have courses of 104 and 204 available on our skilltech.club website. And we do not know right now, most of our audience are administrators or developers. If you are an administrator, you can point out AZ-104 in the chat, or if you're a developer, you can point out AZ-204 in that. So you can just put this thing in the comment of this particular video. By this way, I will get to know that we have more administrators or more developers in this particular track. Also, if you want to know more about these courses, you can just connect to us on our website, which I will share with you at the end of this particular live session. As of now, let's focus on Microsoft Certified Azure DevOps Engineer Expert track. As I said, this is very important and valuable, and it has a prerequisite as well. one thing I want to clarify, that you don't need to give AZ-104 or 204 exam first. Yeah, it's a prerequisite, but suppose if you directly go for DevOps Engineer Expert exam, you can still give the exam. After clearing this exam, you will get this thing reflected on your Microsoft Learn website. And in your Learn profile, it's going to show you that you are certified with DevOps Engineer Expert. But this badge is something which is not going to be visible in that. If you want to get the badge, then you have to clear the prerequisite exam. So basically, the rule is simple. You can give any of this exam first, but you have to make sure that if you clear both, then only you'll get the expert level 3-star badge. So basically, you have to give both, but order is not important. You can give the prerequisite first. This is what most people do. Or if you are already prepared with AZ-400 and you want to go for 400 first and then you want to go for 104 or 204, you can do that as well. Now, let's move forward to the modules of this particular certification track. Now, when I scroll down into the same page, you can see it's showing me that there are two different ways to prepare. The first one is a self-paced learning, and the second one is instructor-led training. Now, basically, instructor-led training is that classroom training which my kind of certified trainers do. So we mostly train corporate people, most of the time the employees who wants to be a cloud DevOps engineer, and then we train them on this kind of a courses and we make sure that they get certified. But today in this video, I'm going to give you all those knowledge free of cost. So just stay tuned with me. By the way, if you are liking our efforts on getting people certified on this free of cost, then you can please like this particular video and you can please subscribe to our channel, because as per the research, we have only 3% people who are getting subscribed to us. So I know it's free for you to subscribe, but if you subscribe, it really gives us the potential, the growth which is required for this one. So it's really going to motivate us if you subscribe to this channel. Without wasting time, let's move forward to the modules which are part of this. Now, as you can see in the same page, it's showing me that we have certain learning path which is given. Now, this learning path is a term which is used. In each learning path is basically going to focus on multiple modules. Like the first learning path is having 8 modules. And if I open that, each topic which is required to learn for this is going to be available on the Microsoft Learn website. Let's say you're going to start with Introduction to DevOps, then planning Agile with GitHub projects and Azure boards, then designing and implementing branching strategies and workflows. Now, each module which is part of this learning path is basically very important for the certification course. This kind of total 9 modules are actually there. If you click on see more, you will be able to see that there are total 8 to 9 learning paths are there. And in each learning path, you're going to have multiple modules. Like in each learning path, you can see 8 modules, plus 8 modules, plus 5 modules. This kind of learning is there. Now, obviously, this one single link is going to give you all the reading material which is required for AZ-400. And let me tell you, if you're planning for AZ-400, you need to be good in 3 things. First is obviously you need to be either a good administrator or a good developer. One of them is fine, as I told you. The second thing is you need to be very good with Git repositories. So maybe you have a background where you are using Git in your organization, or maybe you're using TFVC, Team Foundation Version Control kind of things in your organization. Whichever version control or a source control system you're using, I assume that you should also have a basic knowledge of Git and how Git works. If you have that, that's perfect. After these 2 things, the third thing which you actually need is you need to have an solution specific enterprise knowledge. Now, what I mean by this, you need to know that when you're developing any solution for your organization, you need to know the end-to-end structure of that. So how exactly the process of development, then testing, then building the application, then deploying the application into multiple environments, or maybe dealing with multiple environment kind of configuration with infrastructure, where you have something called infrastructure as a code, where people use different templating mechanism to deploy the infrastructure. All of these things will be part of this each module. Now, as I said, there are 8 to 9 modules are there. So let me just give you some idea about each one of them first. Like the first one is basically going to talk about development for enterprise DevOps. And this is that module which will make you introduced to GitHub. It's going to help you to understand whether you have to create one single repository for your solution, or maybe your solution is bigger, so you have to create a multiple repository kind of thing. So basically, there is something called mono repos and multi repos kind of thing. It's also going to clarify certain terminologies and confusions. Like there is a very common misconception in DevOps that DevOps is perfect for a greenfield project, which are basically started from scratch and it's not going to have any existing code base. And brownfield projects are mostly those projects which are going to be already having some code, and then you want to upgrade to the agile methodologies with DevOps. Now, the fact is, DevOps is going to work with both greenfield and brownfield projects both. And that's what this learning path is basically clarifying. So there are multiple things which you're going to learn with the first learning path. Moving ahead, the second learning path is the actual important one. I always say this thing that when you're dealing with DevOps, it's going to start with CI. So until unless you do CI/CD, which is basically continuous integration and continuous delivery. Once you do CI/CD, that is the actual DevOps which is going to start. Because CI is going to help you to configure your pipelines and GitHub Actions. Now, in this also, we are going to learn two different things. Azure Pipeline is a part of Azure DevOps Suite, which is basically giving you CI/CD kind of a configurations where you can take care of automated build, testing, and deployment. The same thing can be served by GitHub Actions as well. An AZ-400 course is basically focusing on both. So if you really want to clear the certification exam, you need to have a knowledgeable conceptual idea, as well as you need to have a practical lab exposure of GitHub Actions and Azure pipelines as well in this. Obviously, after CI, the next step is going to be CD. You're going to focus on deployment. And deployment is all about release management, release strategy, and there's something called continuous deployment with deployment patterns. This is what which is going to be covered in the further coming two learning path. Now remember, when you are deploying an application, it's not going to be that straightforward, like just push some particular thing or publish certain things into your server environment. Actually, release strategy is a lot more than just deployment of the project. And that's what these two modules are focusing on. It's going to make sure that you are deploying an application to multiple environments, or what we call multiple stages in Azure Pipeline. It's also going to show you how you can control some pre-deployment and post-deployment triggers. It's going to help you to configure some kind of a human-specific approvals, or say something which is called release gates. All these things will be part of your release strategy. Once you understand how you manage release strategy, how you can deploy multiple times a day, or maybe how you're going to deploy into multiple environments parallelly, after that, also your job is not done. After that, you have to focus on something which is called deployment patterns. Yes, deployment pattern is another important term which you need to understand. There are multiple patterns which are there. Like maybe if you heard about any of these patterns, Canary, C-A-N-A-R-Y, Canary is one of the deployment pattern. There is another pattern which is called A/B testing. So basically we have something which is called alpha beta kind of a configurations done for this. So we have A/B testing. We have something which is called feature toggle. We have something which is called ring-based deployment, or what we call progressive exposure deployment. Now, these are different methodologies or different deployment patterns which you have to keep in mind. And when you are deploying your solutions with automations using DevOps, you have to make sure that which deployment pattern will be working fine with this. There are a few fancy words also inside that, which is like dark launching deployment pattern. Yeah, that mostly fantasize most people that, okay, what will be this dark launching? But yeah, these all things will be part of the release strategy as well as continuous deployment with security. Now, when I talk about security of this module, it includes topics like Azure Key Vault, Azure App Configuration Service, which is basically your configuration store and your secret store, where you can obviously keep your secrets and configurational environment variables, and then you can use them in multiple pipelines when you configure them. Moving forward, once you are done with CI/CD, once you're done with release control and version control systems, what is next? Well, the next module is going to be focusing on managing infrastructure as a code and DSC, desired state configuration. Now, this is another important module. It has 6 modules inside this, but it basically focusing on 2 things. First is how you can use infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code allows you to deploy multiple infrastructure specific resources, maybe on-premise, maybe on cloud. Maybe it's an infrastructure as a service or a platform as a service, or maybe some kind of a serverless configuration. But when you're dealing with this, infrastructure as a code is basically going to allow you to deploy this kind of different kind of things with infrastructure as a code, which is a configuration. If you have heard about the names like ARM template, Bicep template, Terraform, Ansible, now these are all nothing but infrastructure as a code, which allows you to automate the infrastructure deployment, and it basically making your infrastructure immutable. Now this is a term which you can keep in mind. Immutable is basically that infrastructure which you can recreate whenever something goes wrong. And it's like the older version of the infrastructure is going to be replaced by the newer version with that automation configuration. Undoubtedly, infrastructure as a code is one of that concept which you're surely going to use in your enterprise when you're going to implement CI/CD. But then after that, we are going to focus on something which is called DSC, desired state configuration, which basically focus on that once your infrastructure is deployed, then it should not deviate from that configuration state. Most of the time, sometimes with some manual process or some human specific configurations, the configuration of your infrastructure and service resources get changed, which is not a right or good thing. And DSC is basically focusing on that. Desired state configuration is going to help you to maintain the state of your configuration of the resources, and it should not deviate from that over a period of time. And that's what you're going to focus in this module. Now, these all concepts are super interesting, and obviously, right now, even if I try my best to cover all the things in this one webinar, it's going to be not possible. That's the reason at the end of this, I'm going to show you some ways by which you can go through this easily. And we have all the recorded videos for all the learning path and for all the modules which are part of this. So don't worry about that. Meanwhile, you can start putting your questions in the chat, and I will make sure that I'm going to revert to this whenever I get a time. So maybe during the session after this, when we go to a Q&A session, I'll answer those things. Or maybe after the session also, if you provide a comment inside this, you're going to get a reply for that for sure. Now, the next one is focusing on dependency management strategy. Basically, the packaging which you are associating with your application. And when you're having a component-based application, obviously, multiple teams are developing different kind of components, and then you have to make sure that you take care of the dependency management in that. That's exactly what dependency management strategy is talking about. This is that module in which you're going to focus on GitHub packages, and you're going to focus on Azure artifacts, which are basically helping you to do more or less same kind of thing, but by two different approaches. And finally, after doing all these things, you have to focus on two modules. Now, think about this. You have taken care of version control, source control system. You have taken care of CI/CD, which is basically your build pipeline and release pipeline. You have taken care of deployment patterns. You have taken care of infrastructure as a core. You have taken care of dependency management strategy. What is remaining now? The answer is, once everything is deployed on the production environment, your job is not done. You have to make sure that you continuously monitor that. And from this monitoring, you have to configure some kind of an alert mechanism using which you can continuously get the feedback of the things which are happening there. You have to check performance of your application. You have to check the availability of your servers. You have to make sure that your users are actually getting familiar, getting comfortable with your application, and your applications are basically performing well for the desired conversion goal. And these all things you're going to do in the implementing continuous feedback kind of a module. After all these things, the last module is basically focusing on implementing security and validating code based for compliance. And this is something which is the last module of this. Now, all this learning path are actually combinedly going to give you an end-to-end solution for managing your continuous integration and continuous delivery of a value to your customer. Remember, I'm not talking about continuous deployment. The ultimate goal of DevOps is basically delivering a value to a satisfied customer. And how the value will be delivered? Well, value will be delivered to a customer when you deliver a successful product without any bugs, without any issues, with minimum cycle time. And that's what this whole course is actually focusing on. Now, this is enough introduction for all the modules of this course. Now let me come to the point that if you really want to go deep dive into this, how you can do that. Now, I already showed you that if you want to read about all these concepts, this is a Microsoft Learn link which Microsoft has given, and each module is available there theoretically. But most of the time, I really do not like reading. I mean, I read it mostly first time, But when I want to understand it with the crystal clear clarity, I always prefer that we should have someone who explains this concept to us. And that is where we have a separate course which is basically available on our website, which is this. We have a website which is skilltech.club. You can go there. You can search for AZ-400 certification. And this is a place where you will get a full course, which each and every module associated with that. Now, this certification track is having so many concepts inside this. So you can see all those learning path with all the modules which we are focusing on that is actually available. Also, at the end of this, there are certain labs also associated with this. I'm sharing a links of these labs as well in that, which is basically going to show you that how you can perform these labs as well. In this case also right now, I'm going to show you three important things. First, if you understood this full course and the structure of this course with all the learning path modules which are there, then I want you to see few things. First, there is a slide, so basically a presentation deck which we have prepared for this course. So when you go through our course on skilltech.club, this is basically going to be an online self-learning kind of a video course. It's going to show you video in which everything is going to be explained like the way I'm doing here. And then whatever presentation deck which we have used inside that is actually available on our website as well. So when I show you this presentation deck, you can see this is showing you the learning path 1. Same way, you will get all the learning path presentation decks available on the resources section of our website. So if you go to skilltech.club, on the top you will get a section called resources. And when you go to the resources tab, you have to register to the website free of cost. So that is not chargeable, but you have to just register once. And then if you go to resources tab, all the presentation deck of all the modules is actually available here, which is available for you to download free of cost. Yes, everyone who's part of this particular video right now, you can go through skilltech.club/resources, or you can just click on the resources tab on the top. Once you're a registered member, free registered member, you can just go to resources section, and all the learning path, all the presentation deck slides of all the learning path is available to you on this free of cost. And if you like, you can go through the enrollment of this particular course as well, where we are explaining everything with more depth, with more details in that. Also, if you become a premium member of this particular website, which is skilltech.club, let me show you one thing, that we are running a Black Friday offer right now. And in this offer, you will be able to become our premium member with 50% discount in the first month. Normally, this particular premium membership is not ever discounted. Throughout this year, we have never run discount, only for the Black Friday. Until the 20th November Black Friday is happening, we have this discount which is going on, where we are giving you first month of the premium subscription with 50% discount. Now, this is one of that particular discount which you will get only once in a year. So if you're really focusing on this, this is almost more than 70 plus videos which are available inside this course. All are up to date with the Microsoft Learn curriculum. And not only that, if you enroll as a premium member, you will get a chance to do a one-on-one mentoring call with me. So suppose if you're going through these videos and if you're getting some issues, or you have some kind of mentorship support you need, or some kind of a guidance you need for certification exam, you can have a one-on-one call with me once in a month. So basically, every premium member can do a one-on-one call with a mentor for their confusion, for their guidelines. They can connect with me, and we normally arrange this kind of a call. So once you're a premium member, all you have to do is you have to click on this WhatsApp icon, which is at the right bottom corner of our website, and then you can just connect to my team on the WhatsApp, and you can get a guidance support one-on-one as well. Now, your theoretical knowledge, you're going to get it from Microsoft Learn website. Your understanding of the concepts, you will get it from the video course, as well as your presentation deck is also going to be available in the resources section of a skilltech.club website. Now, what else is missing? There is a fourth and the most important thing which is missing is labs. Now, obviously, unless you do these things practically, you'll not get that confidence in this. In our courses, when we showcase this thing, you can see the last part of all the courses modules are actually having lab section. And right now, I'm sharing this premium course lab section with you here. This is basically one official Microsoft Learning link page, which is giving you all the official labs of this AZ-400 course. You can see this is not created by us. This is created by Microsoft. This page is basically having almost 15 labs inside this. And these 15 labs are not providing lab environment. Just don't take me wrong. This is not a lab environment. This is basically a lab instructions. So when you click on this, it's going to show you what exactly you have to do in order to achieve agile planning portfolio management with Azure board. So this is basically introducing one product of Azure, which is Azure boards. And it's going to help you to do some kind of a Kanban board planning kind of a configurations with that. Now, if you go to this, it's showing you instructions which you need to follow. And this lab is going to take almost 60 minutes. When you follow the instructions, you do step-by-step kind of a process. Each lab is available with steps, with some screenshots, so that you can understand what exactly you have to do. Trust me, there is nothing better than this. If you really want to learn something, you have to do it practically. And I hope you agree with me. And this is basically showing you what exact thing you have to do, where you have to click, what you have to do, and then what exactly they are trying to explain. Now, the only thing which is here is I am able to share the lab instructions with you, which basically gives you the skill set which you need to learn in order to clear AZ-400. But I'm not able to provide a lab environment to you free of cost, because cloud is never free. So you have two options. If you have a question like, how can I perform the labs? If you're sharing your instructions with me using this link, you can also go through this link. You can pause the video, you can check this, and you can go through this link. But this link is going to give you lab instructions. If you want to perform these labs, you need a lab environment. And that also something which we can help you, but that is something which is not free of cost. Now you have one option. You can go to azure.microsoft.com, and on the homepage of that official page, you will be able to get a free subscription of Azure. That is one option you can do, but you have to provide either a valid identity proof or a credit card kind of information. And based on that, you will be able to register for a free subscription. So that is one option you can do to perform the lab. And that subscription will be active for almost 30 days for you. On the other hand, if you are looking for an official lab environment for AZ-400, we are partnered with a couple of lab providers like Scalable, GoDeploy. There are so many lab providers out there. We are partnered with them. And if you want, we can also provide this labs to you on the chargeable basis, which is mostly going to be available to you for 6 months. Now, if you do not know how this lab works, you can check out some other videos of ours where I am using this lab environment from Scalable, and I can provide the same thing to you as well. If you are interested in purchasing labs, you can still connect with us on the same WhatsApp button. So you can go to skilltech.club homepage. You can click on the WhatsApp icon. You can send a WhatsApp message to my team members. They will share all the details like what is the cost of this particular course lab, what duration you will get, what kind of a payment modes are available, everything you will get there. So I'm not explaining those things in this video. Now, let me do a quick recap of what exactly we learn about AZ-400. If you want to be a certified DevOps engineer expert, you have to make sure that you clear the prerequisite first. That's the first thing. After that, you're going to take 4 things in the take home from this one. The first thing is the full curriculum, which is available on this link. The second one is basically showing you the details of that particular curriculum. So basically you have one learning path, and then in each learning path, you have multiple modules. In order to learn this thing, reading material is available from Microsoft Learn, and video course is available from my side, which is available on this particular website, which is skilltech.club. And if you want to go for the premium course, which is this expert level course, we are running a 50% discount because of Black Friday. And that is also something which is available for limited time only. The third thing is, suppose if you do not want to pay, then also I'm giving you the full presentation deck, which is available on resources section. All you have to do is just free of cost, you have to register to skilltech.club website, and you'll be able to get all the presentation deck files inside that. And last and important thing is labs, which are very important for anyone who actually want to master all the skills. I'm giving you all the lab instructions. So if you already have your subscription, you don't need to pay anything. You can use the instructions, do this thing step by step, and then you can perform the labs. And suppose if you do not have your own subscriptions, or you do not want to use your credit card kind of things with the Azure portal, then you can just connect with us with one-time payment, you will get a lab which is available with AZ-400 Cloud Slice. This is a way of providing lab, which is what we call Cloud Slice, through Scalable, and we can provide it to you. So whichever options you prefer, you can go through that. But I strongly recommend people who are experienced with more than at least 8 to 10 years kind of experience. For them, this is a certification track which is really, really valuable and important for their career. So AZ-400 is something which is going to make you DevOps Engineer Expert. And this title is something which you cannot compare with the other ordinary certifications. So this is a super valuable one. That's it from my side. I think I have given you a lot of information in this, and I'm assuming that you like this. One last thing which I'm sharing with you is this, that if you are going for a premium membership, you can connect with me on a one-on-one mentorship call, and that is something which is once in a month, which is available with that subscription. So you can go for that. And I will love to discuss with you. I will love to help you in the certification track kind of exam. Next thing is, I strongly recommend you that if you're still with us in this particular webinar, then please go to our Skill Tech Club channel and click on the subscribe button. Also, you can click on the bell icon so that whenever we create a new videos, you will be able to get notified for that. As of now, we are consistently working on recording videos for AI agents and AI Foundry kind of things with Azure. Still, all these courses which are available on our website, which is basically skilltech.club, are actually available to all of you. There are a couple of courses which we are giving free of cost, AI 900, AZ 900, and some of the courses for natural language processing, some of the courses for extraction of information using document intelligence. So many courses are available here, and that's what you can actually get free of cost. I think that's it from my side. I am just checking few questions in the chat box right now, and I will answer them. But yes, maybe immediately right now, if I'm not answering, within few minutes, you will get an answer. So just put a comment inside this particular video, and I'll make sure that I'll give a proper links and proper answers of this. Also, all of these links which I'm showing you in this particular video will be available to you in the description of this particular video very soon. Or you can just go to skilltech.club and connect with us on this WhatsApp, and my team is going to share all the required details to you every single time. That's it from my side. I would like to thank all of you for joining this webinar session, and I'll see you again, hopefully next week. Thank you so much, and happy learning.